Welcome in, humanity. Let's listen in to the psychology behind unnecessary purchases. Economics and Finance 101. Let's get it.
You walk into the Apple store. Your old phone is fine, but the battery's a little slow and the screen has a tiny crack. You convince yourself you need the upgrade. It's for work, right? It's a productivity tool. So you drop $1,200 on the new iPhone Pro Max Titanium. You walk out of the store feeling good. You feel successful. But then you get into your car and you look at the phone. It's sleek, it's futuristic, and suddenly your old frayed charging cable looks like garbage next to it. It feels wrong to plug this masterpiece of engineering into a $5 gas station cable. So you buy the new MagSafe charger. That's $40. Then you get home and you put the phone on your nightstand. But wait, your cheap plastic phone case looks ridiculous on this titanium device. You need the leather case. That's $60. And then you realize your old wired headphones are incompatible. You need the AirPods Pro to really get the full experience. That's $250. Within 48 hours, that $1,200 purchase has quietly turned into a $1,600 purchase, and you didn't even notice it happening. This isn't just you being bad with money. This is a psychological chain reaction that has destroyed more fortunes than the stock market ever could. It's a phenomenon that explains why winning the lottery often leads to bankruptcy, and why buying a dream house can turn into a financial nightmare. It is called the Diderot effect. My name is Bobby, and on this channel, we explore the invisible scripts that keep us broke. Most people think they buy things because they need them. Today, I'm going to prove to you that you buy things because your other things are demanding them. If you want to stop the spiral and actually keep the money you earn, smash that like button, and let's dive into the story of the man who lost everything because of a bathrobe. To understand why you can't stop spending money, we have to travel back to France in the year 1765. Meet Denis Diderot. He was a famous philosopher, the co-founder of the encyclopedia, and a brilliant mind. But despite his fame, Diderot was broke. He lived a humble life, he wore old clothes, he walked on old rugs, and he sat on a rickety wooden chair in a dusty library. And he was happy. He was content. But then, everything changed. Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia, heard about Diderot's financial struggles. She was a fan of his work, so she offered to buy his library from him for a massive sum of money, roughly the equivalent of $50,000 today, while letting him keep the books. Suddenly, Diderot was rich. So what did he do? He did what any of us would do. He treated himself. He went out and bought a beautiful, expensive scarlet dressing gown, a luxury robe fit for a king. He brought it home, put it on, and looked in the mirror. He felt elegant. He felt wealthy. But as he sat down at his desk to write, he noticed something bothering him. The robe was magnificent, but his desk was scratched, rotting, and covered in ink stains. The contrast was painful. The desk didn't match the elegance of the robe. So he replaced the desk. He bought a beautiful mahogany writing table. He sat down again. Now the robe and the desk looked great together. But as he looked down at the floor, he realized his old threadbare rug looked like a rag compared to the mahogany table. It was an insult to the room. So he brought a plush, expensive Damascus rug. You can guess what happened next. The rug made the curtains look cheap. He replaced the curtains. The curtains made the chair look like firewood. He bought a leather armchair. He bought new paintings, new sculptures, new mirrors. He spent months obsessing over the unity of his room. He systematically replaced every single object he owned until the entire environment matched the quality of the scarlet robe. And at the end of it, Denis Diderot was broke again. He later wrote a famous essay titled "Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown." In it, he wrote this haunting line: "I was the absolute master of my old dressing gown, but I have become a slave to my new one." This is the Diderot effect. The introduction of a new possession into a consumer's existence will often result in a process of spiraling consumption. We think we own our things, but in reality, our things own us. Now you might be thinking, okay, Bobby, that's a nice story about a French guy from 300 years ago, but I don't wear scarlet robes. How does this apply to me? It applies to you every single day. The Diderot effect is actually more dangerous today than it was in 1765, because modern marketing is designed to trigger it, weaponized precision. Let's look at the fitness identity spiral. Let's say you decide to get in shape. You buy a Peloton bike. That's a big purchase, maybe $1,500. You tell yourself, this is an investment in my health. But when the bike arrives, you realize you can't ride it in your old baggy cotton t-shirt and gym shorts from high school. You don't look like the instructors on the screen. You don't feel like a cyclist. So you buy the specialized cycling shoes, $150. Then you buy the moisture-wicking compression shorts, $80. Then you buy the branded tank top, $50. Then you realize the bike looks cluttered in your messy living room. You need to create a Zen workout space. You buy a yoga mat, some dumbbells, maybe a new smart TV to cast the workouts. Suddenly, you haven't just bought a bike. You have bought an entire identity. This is the core psychology of the Diderot effect. Identity consistency. As humans, we crave consistency. We want our external world to match our internal self-image. When you buy a high-status item, like a luxury car or a designer handbag, you are upgrading your identity. If you view yourself as a Honda Civic person, you're comfortable wearing jeans and eating at McDonald's. But if you stretch your budget to buy a Porsche, you have shifted your identity. You are now a Porsche person. And Porsche people don't wear scratched sunglasses. Porsche people don't have cheap IKEA furniture. Porsche people don't eat off paper plates. The car acts as the anchor item. It sets a new baseline for your entire life. And every other item in your life that falls below that baseline creates psychological tension. It feels wrong. So to relieve that tension, you upgrade everything else. The car forces you to upgrade your wardrobe. The wardrobe forces you to upgrade your vacation spots. The vacation spots force you to upgrade your luggage. You aren't spending money because you want to. You are spending money to maintain coherence in your story. This is why the fake it till you make it advice is actually financially toxic. If you fake it by buying a Rolex before you can afford it, that Rolex is going to demand a suit, a car, and a dinner tab that will bankrupt you. Let's break down the math of the chain reaction cost. Most people calculate the cost of an item in isolation. They look at the price tag and say, can I afford this $500 item? This is the wrong way to think. You need to calculate the chain reaction cost. Let's take the classic example, home renovation. You decide to renovate your kitchen, you budget $10,000 for new cabinets. That seems reasonable. But once the new white modern cabinets are installed, your yellowish 10-year-old refrigerator looks disgusting. It works perfectly fine, but visually it clashes. It breaks the consistency. So you spend $2,000 on a stainless steel fridge. Now the fridge and cabinets are sleek and modern. But looking down, your vinyl floor looks cheap and dated. The contrast is unbearable. So you rip up the floor and put in hardwood. That's $5,000. Now the kitchen is a masterpiece. It looks like a magazine cover, but it's an open concept house. So when you stand in your beautiful new kitchen and look into the living room looks like a dump. The old brown sofa looks sad. The paint looks dull. The kitchen renovation has leaked into the living room. You end up painting the whole downstairs and buying a new sectional. The final cost? It wasn't $10,000. It was $35,000. The $10,000 cabinets were the scarlet robe. They were the anchor that made everything else look inadequate. If you had kept the old cabinets, you never would have noticed the floor. You never would have hated the fridge. You were happy with them before. The upgrade created the dissatisfaction. This brings us to a terrifying realization. Upgrades are often downgrades in disguise. When Diderot had his old robe, he didn't worry about ink stains. He used it to wipe his pen. It was functional. He was the master of it. When he got the new robe, he became terrified of ruining it. He became stiff. He lost his freedom. When you buy a new, brand new, expensive white couch, you stop letting your friends drink red wine in the living room. You stop letting the dog jump up. You stop living in your living room because you are servicing the object. You become the curator of a museum, not the resident of a home. So, how do we stop this? How do we break a psychological pattern that is hardwired into our brains? We can't just live in a cave and never buy anything nice. That's not realistic. But we can build firewalls to stop the spiral. Here is my 3-step defense strategy against the Diderot effect. Strategy number 1, predict the chain reaction. Before you buy any upgrade item, a new car, a new console, a new suit, you must pause and ask yourself, what else will this item demand? If you buy the PS5, will it demand a 4K TV to see the graphics properly? Will it demand an extra controller? Will it demand a subscription to PlayStation Plus? Write down the full system cost, not just the item cost. If the PS5 is $500, but the system cost is $1,500, can you afford the $1,500? If the answer is no, do not buy the anchor item. You are inviting a vampire into your house.
Style.
Facts is being spoken here, family, for you to learn.
2, the buy one, give one rule. The Diderot effect thrives on accumulation. We add the new thing, but we keep the old things, and then we try to make them match. You need to cap your inventory. If you buy a new pair of sneakers, an old pair must leave the house. Donate it, sell it, or trash it.
If you buy a new toaster, the old toaster goes. This forces you to value what you have. It prevents you from building a shrine of possessions. It keeps you in the mindset of a user, not a collector. Strategy number 3, practice strategic downgrading. This is the nuclear option, but it works. Sometimes the only way to reset your baseline is to deliberately downgrade a visible part of your life. Drive a slightly older car than you can afford. Wear a watch that is simple and functional. When your anchor items are humble, you feel zero pressure to upgrade everything else. If you drive a beat-up Toyota truck, nobody expects you to wear a $2,000 suit. You have freedom. You can wear jeans. You can eat a burrito in the car. By keeping your status symbols low, you lower the required cost of the rest of your life. You create a low-maintenance identity. And let me tell you, a low-maintenance identity is the most profitable asset you can own. It allows you to stack cash while
Low maintenance identity, family.
everyone else is busy curating their museum. Look, there is nothing wrong with nice things. I like nice things. But you have to understand the game you are playing. Consumerism is designed to make you feel incomplete. It is designed to make you feel that you are just one purchase away from happiness. But Diderot taught us the truth 300 years ago, that one purchase doesn't finish the puzzle. It scrambles the puzzle. It resets the board and forces you to start over. Don't be a slave to your robe. Be the master of your life. If you want to know more about how to build real wealth that doesn't rely on showing off, check out this video right here where I break down the coast fire method we talked about last time. And if this video saved you from making a stupid purchase this week, hit the like button. Subscribe to Bobby for more financial sanity. I'll see you in the next one. Don't buy the robe.
Great financial advice. I'm out.